Dear students, welcome back to biology forum classes once again. Myself Sreyasi, your life science teacher. This is the only platform where you can get concept-based, concise and information-rich videos on life science. Our classes mainly cater students of secondary and higher secondary examination, medical aspirants, and we also cover syllabus of various competitive examinations going around. So, in our previous class, we have studied about the long distance transport in case of plants, various theories, various mechanisms related to it, and the first part, which is absorption of water, we have studied the detailed mechanism, its detailed function, everything. I think you have no question regarding that particular topic. So, today we will study about the next section of water transport, that is the first we already have covered, absorption of water. We will study today about the next portion, which is ascent of sap. So, without further delay, let's begin today's class. So, let's begin today's topic, which is ascent of sap. What is sap? I already discussed this in my previous lecture, which is related to the absorption of water. If you follow my channel, you can know I am going step by step manner. So, ascent of sap, what do you mean by sap? First of all, you have to know what is the meaning of sap. Sap is nothing but it is a mixture of water and minerals which is absorbed by root hairs and transported through xylem tissue to upward movement, upward motion. So, ascent of sap is meant by the upward movement of sap. Sap is the mixture of water and minerals. Okay, so to define ascent of sap, we can say easily and very precisely that the upward movement of water and mineral mixture is called the ascent of sap. We all know from our previous lecture that water is getting absorbed by the root hairs and it is sent to the xylem tissue by apoplast and symplast pathway, both followed by actually the absorption of water and the travel of water from root hairs to the xylem tissue is mainly followed by both the theories, both the pathways, symplast and apoplast. We all know apoplast means outside the cell, that is non-living portion, the travel through the non-living portion, and symplast means travel by crossing the plasma membrane by crossing the cell. Okay, so ascent of sap is mainly meant by the upward movement of water and mineral mixture. As you can see from this picture right here, that this is the root, this is the stem, and these are the leaves. We all know the blue arrow, what it denotes, it is written over here, water plus mineral transport. By the blue arrow, I am trying to make you understand that after getting absorbed by the root, the sap mainly travels through the stem by xylem tissue mainly, and it is poured or it is sent to the leaves. What is the function? So that we all know that leaves are the cooking station of plant, and for nutritional purpose and many other physiological functions to carry on, leaves need water and mineral, which is sap. That is why by xylem tissue, I am indicating it here by blue arrow, the water and mineral is transported from the root to the leaf, that is the upward movement against the gravitational force. And by the red arrow just over here, I am trying to make you understand about the food distribution. The food is made or produced in the leaves actually, okay, by the method of photosynthesis. We all know this. And after getting prepared, the food has to transport throughout the body in the root by the phloem tissue, and the red arrow just indicates this over here. By the blue arrow, we meant to the distribution of sap, and by the red arrow, we are trying to mean here that the food distribution by the phloem tissue. Okay, I think up to this everything is clear to you. So, the ascent of sap mechanism is supported by two theories. What are the theories? The first is root pressure theory, and the second one is very important, very important for you and your upcoming examinations. Just make a note over about this in your copy. Cohesion, tension, transpiration, pool theory. The second theory, which is cohesion, tension, transpiration, pool theory, is first described by Dixon and Joly. Two scientists, Dixon and Joly, first describe the second theory regarding the ascent of sap. This can be a question for you in your upcoming examination. So make a note about this, that Dixon and Joly, both scientists, describe the second theory related to ascent of sap, actually, which is cohesion, tension and transpiration pool theory. So first we will study about the root pressure theory. Next we will dive into the second portion. Okay, so let's begin the next portion. Begin with the next portion of the class. So to define the root pressure, the first theory for ascent of sap, which is root pressure theory. The root pressure, the magnitude of root pressure is not so much high, rather it is very low. That is why it is unable to explain the ascent of sap mechanism properly. Okay, so mainly the second theory, which is cohesion, tension, transpiration, pool, is mainly important to describe the ascent of sap mechanism. So here, this is, you can see, this is a structure of root. Already we have studied about this in our previous class. These are the epidermal cells. And what is the root pressure? First of all, we have to know what is the root pressure. So we all know that sap is getting absorbed by the root hairs over here, present over here, and it is transported upwardly. That is opposite to the direction of gravity. Okay, so to pull and to transport anything opposite of gravity, an extra push need to be there, must be given to this portion for the water or the sap to getting transported upwardly. Okay, so root pressure is nothing but a moderate push, actually a positive hydrostatic pressure, which is given or which is given by in the root portion of the cell of the plant, root portion of the plant, to transport the sap upwardly. Okay, it is nothing but a moderate push, we can say, or we can term it as a positive hydrostatic pressure also. So how the pressure will appear? So you can concentrate here. This green portion, green pipe-like structure we consider here as xylem, and there are so much minerals accumulated inside the xylem, inside the pipe of the xylem. So whenever there is so much mineral accumulated inside the xylem tissue, then only the water potential is getting decreased, the water potential is low, but the osmotic pressure is very much high. How the minerals are getting absorbed by the xylem? As we all know from the previous class that minerals like sodium, potassium, chlorine, they are absorbed by the xylem tissue by active transport. And by active transport, what we have to mean? We all know that by active transport mean external energy is needed there for the transportation. There are various pumps and protein channels present over there for the transportation of particular minerals like sodium, chlorine and potassium, which is needed in the upward portion. At a time, we all know plant can transport or can absorb rather 60 type of minerals, but they do not do this. They only absorb such minerals which they must need for photosynthesis purpose or at the upper portion of the body. Okay, clear up to this, students? I think you can make understand about from my informations about, you can assume the scenario. So whenever the amount of mineral accumulated in the xylem is higher, then the osmotic pressure also getting increased, but the water potential will decrease. And in such a condition, when osmotic pressure is increased and water potential is decreased, there is a push applied to that particular portion. Water is getting absorbed by this, and after getting entry, it will give another external push so that the sap can show an upward movement and it can reach up to the upper part of the plant body. I think you can understand what I am trying to say, that water will get enter up to this point by applying a force, by applying root pressure, by applying a push, and it will thrust the water to the above portion of the plant body so that the upper body or the leaves can access to the sap portion. Up to this, I think I am clear to you. Okay. So there are several conditions which are applied for the root pressure to function properly. Okay. What are the conditions? So let me erase the board and let me write it for you. What are the conditions for root pressure? So let me first draw a picture for you for your better understanding. Okay. So if this is a leaf and this is the stomata, and this is the root. This is the stem, this is the root, this is the stomata. We all know during the daytime the stomata remain in open condition so that the absorbed water can be excreted or can be evaporated through the pore named stomata by the process of transpiration. Okay. During daytime, when this movement, water is getting absorbed and it will get evaporated by the transpiration mechanism. This continuous process is maintained during the daytime. This continuous process is maintained during the daytime. And we all know that the water is getting transported by the xylem tissue. Okay. During daytime, that is why the root pressure is not so much high, because the main condition of root pressure is what? The main condition for root pressure is the accumulation of mineral in xylem. Already we have studied the accumulation of minerals. Where? In xylem. So whenever the continuous water transportation is maintained, the accumulation of minerals is not possible in the xylem. Okay, so in the daytime the root pressure is in low medium or low condition. Okay, but when the root pressure, what is the favorable condition for root pressure application? Early morning or late evening. This is here is a very beautiful theory for you students to understand the proper procedure. What is the theory? The theory is that whenever there is too much scorching sunlight is present, what happened to us? If we go around in sunlight, we will sweat. Exactly like similar manner, plants also sweat by the transpiration. During daytime, during the presence of high scorching sunlight, the rate of transpiration is so much higher that the root pressure applied became so much lower. Why? Because the transpiration is on, and as the transpiration is on, the water is continuously circulated from the root to the plant leaf, and then from plant leaf it will evaporate by transpiration. This is a continuous process. But during the early morning and during late evening also, when there is no such sunlight or no harsh sunlight is present over there, the rate of transpiration decrease. Rather, in the late evening, in the night, the stomata will close and the transpiration rate is 0. And as the transpiration rate becomes 0, the root pressure will enhance. How? Because as the stomata is closed, there is no transpiration. So water is getting accumulated here, and we all know that plant do absorb not only water but also minerals. So if water is getting accumulated over there, minerals also accumulate inside the xylem. And when the minerals accumulate inside the xylem, it is a favorable condition for root pressure to apply in higher concentration. And whenever the situation appears, the root pressure is high, and during the early morning and late evening, it is properly happening. Okay, so conditions for root pressure: first is accumulation of mineral in xylem. Whenever the time has come to appear minerals accumulated in the xylem in high concentration, the osmotic pressure increases and the water potential decreases, and root pressure is, or the positive hydrostatic pressure, we can say either or, is applied in a very higher amount. And also in the early morning and late evening, when transpiration rate is moderate, low, or you can say 0, the root pressure is applied in a very high concentration, high manner. Okay, and mainly it is done in case of herbs, small plants. In case of dicot, we can say tomato, and in case of monocot, we can say grass. And another very important point or condition for application of root pressure in higher amount is the soil has to become very hydrated. Soil has to become very hydrated. The water quantity in case of soil has to very high amount, then only the root pressure will apply in a higher manner or in a very huge amount. Okay, up to this I think I am clear enough. The next portion we will study about the regeneration of water column, which is mainly done by the root pressure. Another interesting topic of today's class. So without any delay, let's begin with this. Therefore, let's begin with the next portion of the class, which is very interesting for you students. Let's concentrate over here. The root pressure regenerate water column. What is written here? Root pressure. We have already studied. Regenerate, reproduce water column. Okay, what do you mean by water column? Whenever water along with minerals absorbed by the root, it will form a water column by adding droplets of water up to till leaves. Concentrate over the picture here I have drawn. You can understand what I am trying to say. These are the roots, this is the stem, this is the leaf. This is the stomatal opening, and whenever water is getting absorbed by the roots, it will form a column like this. Column which is made by adding the droplets of water one by one, one above the other. So water, for the water to transport up to till leaves, a transpiration pool must function over there. Not only the root pressure, but also along with the root pressure, a pull, a force which is pulling the water due to the transpiration must be there for proper circulation of water from root to the tip of the tree. Okay, so here in stomatal opening there is a transpiration pool over there, which is, you can say, TP in short form, and whenever the transpiration pool is there, the water column will form. This is the water column. One by one on the above, water droplet is accumulated and it will form like a column, like a pipe-like or column like structure. Okay, so this is the water column. And what is tensile strength? The strength between two water droplets which make both the water droplets attach with each other is termed as tensile strength. TS is written in short form. So this is TP, transpiration pool over here, and this is tensile strength which make the both two water droplets to attach with one with another. Okay. So whenever there is too much transpiration pool, whenever there is too much transpiration pool over there in the stomatal region, it will eventually break the water column. What is the scenario? If this is the leaf, this is the stem, and this is the root. I am very bad at drawing, just bear with this. Whenever there is too much transpiration pool in the stomatal region, it eventually break the water column. It will break the tensile strain, the strain between both the droplets of water, break water column. What is the condition for breaking water column? When transpiration pool is greater than tensile strength, when TP is greater than TS, it is mainly happening during the afternoon. During the afternoon, it is mainly happening when TP, transpiration pool, is greater than TS, tensile strength, the water column will break. And in the daytime, it will not reconcile. In daytime, when water is circulating from the root to the tip and transpiration is going on, in the daytime, the water column will not regenerate. Okay. In the night time, when there is no transpiration and there is no transpiration pool present, there is zero transpiration rate, then only in the night time the water column will regenerate. By what? The water column will regenerated by the root pressure only. By the root pressure only. What I am trying to explain you, and it is written from the very beginning of this portion. In the late night, in the late evening, we all know, we all have studied that the transpiration rate is becoming zero, and that is when the root pressure will increase. The minerals will accumulate in the xylem, and so on, the root pressure will getting increased. And that is when the root pressure is so much over there and the transpiration rate is zero, it will regenerate water column. The water column will reconcile. The water column will reconcile during what? During night time. What are the conditions? Because transpiration rate is zero and root pressure is so much high. During night time, root pressure is so much high and transpiration rate is zero. That is why transpiration pool is zero, and that is why the water column will reconcile, will regenerate by application of root pressure. This is I am trying to explain you. But there is a very important point you don't want to miss out, that only in case of short-heighted plants. Only in case of short-heighted plants the water column will regenerate or will reconcile. The plants which have 100 meters of length and very tall in height, in case of those plants the water column will never regenerate, because the water column will never regenerate, never reconcile by application of too much of root pressure. Why? What is the reason? Because the height of the plant is too much. That is, the root pressure needed for reconciliation of the long heighted plant water column in case of water column is not applicable, is not so much that in case of long heighted plants the water column will reconcile. That is why only short-heighted plants, in case of only short-heighted plants, root pressure will regenerate water column. And it is done in the night time because transpiration pool is zero over there and root pressure is very much high. Root pressure is very much high over there. I think up to this I can make you understand about the total topic. Next, proceed with the next section of the class. What is guttation? Guttation means the excretion of water from leaf or from any other part of the body other than stomata. Okay, the excretion of water, other than stomata. What is the scenario? If this is a leaf, this is a stomata. It is closed. Whether the stomata is closed, water can still excreted by this portion of the plant. This is the water column, and water will excrete by this portion, by this portion, by this portion. Here small pores are present which we can term as hydatodes. When stomata is closed, water still can excrete through various pores present in the leaf, in the plant stem, and these are termed as hydatodes. The pores are termed as hydatodes, and water can easily get excreted from those portions whenever stomata is closed. Okay, this procedure is termed as guttation. Clear? So when water is getting excreted through the stomata by transpiration, it is excreted in gaseous form. It is excreted in gaseous form whenever water is getting excreted through the stomata. But whenever water will excrete by hydatode, it will in liquid form. It will excrete in liquid form like water. Okay, that is why when we just cut a leaf in the early morning, we can see in several plants water-like consistency, water-like solution excreted from the tip of the leaf or stem, in case of stem also. So water is getting excreted in liquid form from hydatodes and in gaseous form from what? Stomata. Whenever stomata is being closed, guttation will proceed. The procedure of guttation will proceed. Okay, up to this I think I am clear enough to you. Next, proceed with the last section of today's class. Okay, next portion and the last portion of today's class is the second theory, which is related to the ascent of sap, mainly the theory which explains the ascent of sap properly is the cohesion, tension, transpiration, pull theory. Cohesion, tension, transpiration, pull theory. So from the name of the theory itself, we can make understand that strong pull or like the transpiration pull is very much needed for the theory to work upon. And if we concentrate here, if this is a leaf and this is the stomata, we all know this is the stomata, this is the water column, and previously we have studied that to maintain or to reconcile or to regenerate the water column, the root pressure is very much needed. In this theory we will study about, and this is the first step of our next class also, the cohesion, adhesion, surface tension mechanism. By cohesion, adhesion and surface tension mechanism, that how the tensile strength between two droplets of water is maintained for maintaining the water column. This function is very much needed, and this is the first step towards our next class regarding transpiration. So up to this I think I am clear enough. to you. If there is any portion left or if there is any question from your side, you can always comment down below and you can mail me through email. I will make sure that as much as possible I will try to address your all questions. Okay, so students, today we have studied about the ascent of sap mechanism. In the previous class we have studied about absorption of water mechanism, and in our next class coming Monday we will study about transpiration mechanism in detail, continuing the cohesion adhesion surface tension theory which we have just started today. Okay, today we have taken the first step and we will study in detail in our next class regarding transpiration. So if there is any portion left or if there is any question left from your side, you can always comment down below, or you can mail me in my email ID which is right now popping in your screen. Okay students, and if you like the video and if you enjoy the learning process with your life science teacher myself, then you can always comment down below, share the video as much as possible, subscribe to this channel, put the notification bell on always so that every time I upload a video you will be get notified. So thank you so much for today.